Hello and welcome to my statics semester summary. We're going to wrap up everything in our 8-week statics class. Talk about some of the bigger projects that we did, some of the online stuff that we learned, what I've learned from it. Going to make a pitch slash plea for a grade, and we're going to do all this in under 15 minutes. So this is going to be a heck of a squeeze. So first, I want to get some of the overarching online stuff and some of the what we focused on the online material. Let's get that out of the way first. I want to discuss that first. A lot of what went into the online discussions talked about, for me, it talked about sort of relearning how to learn in a lot of situations, discussing the traditional methods of teaching, discussing the typical methods of grading and assessing knowledge, and kind of breaking down where those are working and especially where those are not working, and kind of getting all of that and then presenting it as a way to kind of understand the difference with how this class went versus how normal classes went. This class being a lot more, certainly more hands-on, certainly more interactive, certainly more geared towards what an engineering profession is going to be like outside of the classroom. And I don't feel that, certainly that's true. I don't feel that the engineering profession is really understood beyond or outside of the classroom. Certainly in my other professional careers, of course, not engineering, what I learned in school prior to doesn't really come into play. And if it's a Venn diagram, there's no overlap between what I learned in school and what I need to succeed in my professional career. They don't intersect at any one given time. Now, some of the habits and study habits that I had from the schooling time, well, that does help. That does help me succeed in the professional world. But it's not what I learned, but it's how I learned those things, the tools and tricks that I learned to get good grades. Well, maybe some of those habits come in handy. Whereas this class, I feel like we're really approaching this class with our two projects especially, where we are, we're a team of professionals, and we have in front of us at any one given time a task that needs to be done. And we need to accomplish that to the best of our ability, given a time constraint, given any type of other constraint, a communication constraint, and it's up to us to get that done. The other big part of it, a lot of discussions here where we're needing to interact with one another to sort of bring new ideas to the table, and then be able to digest those and then respond to that in a meaningful way, which I think is absolutely needed in the professional world. You can't, so many discussion posts in online courses, you have to have a minimum of 2 replies or something. And the replies are always like, great job, but that's not substantive. You need to be able to add on, there needs to be an add then, right? It needs to be able to take that information, then add on, to enforce it, to make it better, or to disagree, to go the other way, but to make something meaningful. And a lot of our discussion posts are sort of geared to that. And I really enjoyed the discussions because it does help you understand how to conversate, communicate, operate in a professional environment. The other part about the online stuff that I really enjoyed was the neat resources, which, for lack of a better description, were in fact very neat resources. I'm a complete noob, as it were, when it comes to so much of this stuff. When it comes to VPython, when it comes to Tinkercad, SolidWorks, AR, augmented, some of the things we've done here, augmented reality, screencast. This is the first time I've ever done a screencast. It was this semester, and I can tell you I absolutely enjoy it. It's a lot more fun, a lot more interactive than a PowerPoint. It's certainly easier for me. So screencasting, if I had my way, I probably would do every weekly summary that I'd want to do. I'd probably try and do it with screencast. So this has been just entirely beneficial, just for my own personal, knowledge growth, just to learn these new resources. Some of the stuff that the other 4, my 4 comrades, they already know about. It's already kind of old hat to them. But for me, this has been a lot of new, neat, fun stuff. So I've thoroughly enjoyed that. Let's get into our first project. So the first project that we really went into was our spaghetti bridge, that GCU competition. And we split off into two teams. Our team had a very ambitious design here with the archway, and we jumped into it right away. I feel like our design was neat. It had value, had some merit, but the execution in terms of getting that into spaghetti and into glue and putting those two things together to make that design effective. And maybe it was just a little bit too advanced for our skills. And had we more time to understand how to glue spaghetti effectively, how to sort of design and anchor down these joints. I mean, we're just gluing, we're at times just gluing things to the table and then trying to pry it back up. Had we more time to understand how to do that, how much spaghetti to use, I don't even think we really used all of our spaghetti, certainly didn't use enough. And because it was so intricate, it took a lot of time. Me and Noah, I think, spent one class where we went all through our class, and then we actually sat and glued all through your 104 class to sit in the back gluing spaghetti, just trying to make this bridge. And unfortunately, given all that time, it actually failed right away. And again, I think it has to do a lot with our not quite getting the right amount of spaghetti in the right place, or gluing it, just sort of doing it in a hurry, not doing a good job of reinforcing these joints. As you can see, it broke. We started with 10 pounds because we knew KC and Tab's bridge had done 10 pounds. So we started with 10 pounds, and it broke on the top ridge. You can see a twist, and then it just folded on itself immediately. I think the biggest error of that bridge was just overambition, given our lack of knowledge with the materials. So we did go ahead and we went with KC and Tab's design, the one we were going to submit to GCU. And we have this awesome time lapse here of us making that. And it is the most basic bridge that you can ever imagine. Just piles and piles and piles and piles of spaghetti. We did some cross hatching in there. I believe we came out in the range of about 70 newtons, 75 newtons, I believe, which was about the same that KC and Tab's original bridge had done without cross hatching. So unfortunately, I think in the end, the cross hatching didn't really add to the effectiveness, the stiffness, or the resistance of the diagram or the bridge. Was a great. However, we certainly didn't win. I believe even third place was at 80, so we were just short of making third place. And I think the first place bridge had over 280 newtons. I would have loved to have seen that bridge. It's just so amazing. It was nearly triple the second place bridge with that email that we had saw. Fantastic statics. I think this is like the classic statics project, right, as a bridge. And certainly for me, a civil engineering degree major, bridge project, that's got to be the most stereotypical civil engineering project there is to have a bridge, because to understand the static forces on the bridge, and it doesn't look like. And here's the thing with the video statics is, or of the static force here, is when everything is working, it doesn't look like anything's actually happening, right? Because the force of gravity and the weight of the bridge and any additional weight, which is, we'll say that there. If the bridge is working effectively, this is in complete this equals the normal force, or the table force that the table is holding or exerting on the bridge. And suppose in a real bridge, maybe this is land, like a cliff here and a cliff over here. That's working in perfect harmony. It's only when the bridge, or when the force down becomes too great, and the table force or cliff force can't hold the bridge anymore, the bridge fails. We have this, and of course in our first interview we discussed sort of a cross section of the bridge, because the bridge design that we have, of course, when that strap is of course applied, it does squeeze the bridge, sort of like, squeeze is the best word I can probably use for it. It squeezes it in. The other thing let's talk about real quick, we need to also get to our balloon launcher. After the bridge took a vast majority of our time, so within the past about 2 weeks, we've been able to construct a balloon launcher. Now, your challenge here was that you're going to be moving in a 30-meter line, 15 meters away from center, at a rate of a meter a second for 30 seconds. So we constructed a turret here that would allow us to turn the firing catapult, the elastic band, and turn it. And you can see here some photos of us out measuring that. And this was, our test on that was today. And we actually did hit you. And one time we got you on the back of the shoulder. So we were very happy with that. The biggest difficulty that with this project was dialing in and getting consistent launches every time. And something that we're better at, but we're still not experts at consistent shots. I would tell you that. So, coming to the grade discussion, this is a little awkward for me because coming back to school, this was not my intent. I can tell you that. I remember my first time in college, I went in with the mindset of I need to do whatever I need to do to get the grade I want. It's a points. I felt like a points bounty hunter. I'm just coming in to get the points, get as many points as I can. And I feel that way right now in other classes. Get as many points as I can. That way I need fewer points on the back end to get the grade I want. This second time around, I've been trying to really focus more on absorbing the material. It's not for me for an A or B or C, but it's for me for knowledge, to expand my mind, to make it a more valuable tool, right? To make my mind a little more powerful of a weapon. With that being said, I did require us at the beginning of the semester seek an A. So I'm going to go through the requirements here, and we've got about just under 3.5 minutes. We're going to go through this very quickly, and we're going to point out all the things and see if I have made all the minimums for an A. So first off, you talk about in the syllabus, we talk about the time requirement. Now I talked about 16 hours approximately. I came out to about 13 and a half. First off, attendance. I was in class, every class, perfect attendance, usually staying late to get things done. But outside of that, 8 to 9 hours per week outside of class, doing the discussion materials, meeting with my other two classmates, Noah and Casey. We've actually become a little trio, so we've kind of do things together now. So 8 to 9 hours outside, so 8.5, you'd average that out to, and then 5 hours, of course, in class, coming out to 13.5 hours, or over the 8-week summary, that's 108 hours. So attendance, yes, 100%. Daily assignments, discussions, things like that, completed 100%. There's nothing in there that I did not do. Discussions, 100% discussed, posted in every discussion board, and made comments to all of my classmates who made discussion posts themselves. There were times where other classmates did not post or posted late, and I still tried to go back if they posted late or had not posted on time. I still tried to post a response to them because oftentimes they have really good information, and maybe if it's agreeing, a lot of the stuff we all agree with each other. Oh yeah, I agree with you, but they may bring up a separate example of something else or some other work experience or life experience that's really helpful. It makes you see things in a different way. Neat resources posted, and neat resource every single time. Also tried to point out a good, best resource, a lot of great other resources, especially learning with Tinkercad things. A lot of people are able to bring in other resources and help me, learn how to do something, how to use screencasts, how to look at AR, how to Tinkercad as an example. A lot of videos I had to watch to try and get that. Weekly summaries, posted a weekly summary every week. Also use screencasts for about half of them, I feel like now, under a minute, so we're going to go really fast here. What we did, absolutely, and I feel like what you learned and how I apply it, I feel like those are so symbiotic. I can't really discuss what I learned because everything that I'm trying to learn, I'm then trying to apply. It doesn't really mean a whole lot if I learn it and I'm not going to use it. So at this point in my life, if I'm going to learn it, I'm going to learn it because I need it. If I need it, then I'll learn it. And so I try to, in every summary, in talking about this one, the resources, I'm going to use the resources or using some of the discussion posts, wanting to learn for that purpose, to have purpose to what I'm learning, not just be learning it, take a final, move on, forget it. That's been the real challenge now, is wanting to learn. So I've got just under 10 seconds. That is my semester static summary. Thank you for listening, really. All right, bye-bye.